Cravings are a part of life. We're always going to want things that are not wonderful for us. Hey guys, I am back. My name's Ariel, and I usually do videos about plant medicine and herbalism. This week I wanted to talk a little bit about diet because we all eat food, and I did an experiment where I went 2 whole months without eating a grain. Not a wheat, not a barley, not a single oat. And I'm here to tell you how that went. Before I get into the nitty-gritty of my experience, we should probably define what a grain is. A grain is simply a grass seed. And grasses are in the family Poaceae. And you may know a lot of them. Wheat is a grain, barley, oats, rye. Here's a list of grains. Humans have been eating grains in a large amount for about 10,000 years, and that is when we started what we recognize today as modern agriculture. And that is a practice called monocropping, which means one crop. We would grow vast swaths of one thing.
Let's get this bread.
Now, when humans started doing this, our skeletons got worse. They got shorter, they got less dense, so weaker, more dental problems, and just generally less nourished from what we can see in the fossil record. So that is part of the reason that everybody's obsessed with going paleo and things like that nowadays. Maybe we're rethinking this idea we had 10,000 years ago. I would say maybe it's less about grains itself. Like maybe grains aren't always bad. Maybe it's just a lack of diversity in your diet that's the issue. You remember when you were a kid, the food pyramid used to be like completely based on grains and breads and pastas and rice and stuff, and people are moving away from that because it's just not working for a lot of us. Unfortunately, bread is delicious and so are noodles. The noodle cravings during my 2-month experiment were just horrendous. And with that, let's get into some of the other negative experiences of going grain-free. So right off the bat, I mentioned that I craved things like bread and noodles. Cravings are a part of life. We're always going to want things that are not wonderful for us. That was a very manageable part of going grain-free for a couple months. Of course, if you're in my family, you probably heard me not shut the F up about how I wanted just some like pad thai or spaghetti or something. Other cons are that grains are inexpensive. They are filling. They are very easy to make as like the basis of your meal. They're just so easy because they're so readily available. In fact, our government subsidizes crops like soybeans and corn and wheat. So going grain-free, you might end up spending a little bit more on more nutrient-dense foods. For me, that's worth it. I'm willing to pay a little more for that, but man, in today's economy, grains are easy, they're filling, they're inexpensive, and when you cut that out of your diet, no matter the health benefits, it is going to be an adjustment for you. So you just have to like plan for it. It's totally doable, but it's like slightly annoying.
It's a bit annoying actually.
For some people, grains are their main source of fiber. And so if you completely take that out of the diet, you may suffer from the effects of not enough fiber, which could cause gas or bloating or constipation, right? My easy solution for that is just eat a gosh darn fruit or vegetable. On that same note, grains are also a big source of B vitamins for most people. Again, they are a good source of it, but you can get B vitamins from other foods. I will harp on this all day. We should all just be eating as wide a variety of foods as possible and eating real food.
Amen.
So the last con of going grain-free, for me, was the adjustment process. Just like a little transition period. It was almost a week. I just felt a little bloated. Just like my belly was confused. And that's a real thing. Your gut bacteria have to kind of switch over to eating a new kind of food. Certain kinds of gut bacteria and yeast die. And bye Felicia, we don't need them anymore. And then other ones move in and thrive and proliferate off of your new higher protein, higher veggie diet. It was totally worth it, but it was like a week of bloating, and then it was the opposite of bloating. It was just like very easy to digest food all the time. The good parts included things like less bloating after that first week, better skin. I suffer from pretty severe eczema. It seemed like cutting grains helped a decent amount. It didn't cure anything, but just caused a little less inflammation. And I think it's because they're kind of hard to digest. Other good parts were that I was by default eating way more protein. I felt so much better. I felt like clear-headed. I wasn't getting acid reflux, and I just had more energy and strength. I often get acid reflux like immediately after a bowl of oatmeal, which sucks because oatmeal is great and it's easy to make, but for some reason I just don't digest it well, and so I just didn't have any acid reflux for a couple months. It was amazing. Why did I stop this diet, do you say, if I felt so good? Well, that's because my friend made sourdough pancakes, and they were delicious, and I felt fine. And I was surprised because I thought that like all my symptoms would return, but it really seems like my body was just happy to have had a little break. Maybe I was eating too many carbs and grains before, and now I'm eating less because I know that I can live without it. I will not give up on my sourdough again. Did you know it has like 4 to 8 times more protein than like regular old bread? I guess that's the main reason why I'm not grain-free anymore, is because sourdough is life. But I definitely don't eat grains every day. I'm definitely grateful to have more variety in my diet now, because I don't want to fall into what I call like diet neuroticism, and other people can call orthorexia. And that's where you obsess over food so much that it literally becomes an eating disorder. I need to both be mindful of what I'm eating, but not like so mindful of it that I'm not thinking about anything else. Because life is about so much more than what's for dinner. Liar! The big question is, should you try this grain-free diet? And I would say solid maybe. If you're one of those people who goes grain-free, and then when you reintroduce grains, you feel like shit, well then you absolutely know that it's just not the food group for you, and it's worth just obsessively avoiding. Because your quality of life matters way more than a bowl of noodles, no matter how good they taste.
Why are you saying this?
So I'm realizing that it's like maybe a little boring just rambling on about how I feel going grain-free. So maybe I should show you some of what I ate when I didn't eat greens. We have smoothies. Why eat fruit when you can eat pre-blended, pre-chewed fruit? Well, because it's prettier sometimes if you slice it up and put cheese on it. We eat this like every single day. Cheese and fruit, classic ancient combination. And then for easy snacks, for long car rides, lots of seaweed, good for iodine. Eggs, every day, lots of eggs. So much protein, so easy, and bless my chickens for giving them to me for free. And some green beans and butter. We eat so much butter. And hamburgers and a dirty stove. I know that's not the prettiest picture, but when I'm not eating some sort of like grass-fed hamburger situation, I'm eating sliced steak from Costco. So it's just a lot of fruit and veggies and animal protein, and it was pretty easy, and it felt really good. And I'm also glad it's over, because now I get to eat noodles again. That is it for the video. I will be back again soon, I hope, with more herbalism related content. It was great to catch up with you guys and ramble on about this dietary experiment that I did, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye!